Folks, we got Amy. It's been a while we've done one of these. I forget. We kind of took the summer off and we haven't done one of these in a while. Well, we got a great guest today. We got Amy Lyndon. Welcome. I don't know how to introduce you. You've been a manager, a writer, a producer, a director, an actor, an author, casting director.
Very little.
Yeah, okay, but
I understand that whole thing.
Yeah, a whole bunch of this.
But mostly.
So welcome. And what?
Should I introduce myself?
Yeah, you can introduce yourself. You've been in the business a long time. You started when you were like 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah. No, I think most. It's so funny because I tell people the very reason why you don't work as an actor is the very reason why you wanted to be an actor is the very reason why you're not working. It's because you want people to love you and people to appreciate you and clap for you, and there's that whole
accept you,
and you know, it's interesting the whole process of going in for an audition. If you're like that, you're too needy, you know. Sort of like dating too.
Yeah.
You don't want to be too needy, you know.
Yeah.
But I got into acting when I was 10 years old, and my parents used to send me away to camp because they just wanted.
They wanted the summer off.
They wanted the summer off. Well, you're a father, you understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they just wanted to get rid of my ass, you know. They were like, litter. So they would put me.
You went to acting camp, theater camp.
No, it was one of those co-ed camps, but they had a great theater thing going on there. But that was where I learned the art of competition, because I would compete in everything, and I was very much of a jock, and I do believe that in order to be a successful actor, you need to know how to understand the art of competition.
Okay.
And so that's where I learned the art of competition, and that's where I started on stage. Two Gentlemen of Verona, I did when I was 10 years old. It was ridiculous.
Okay. So now, where do we go? Do you want to be an actor?
Yes, and so I participated in community events. I participated in like local teachers. And then when I was in high school, I jumped on a train and I would study at the neighborhood playhouse, which is Sandy Meisner. That's where the Meisner technique.
And this is all in New York.
This is all in New York.
Yeah.
And that's where the Meisner technique was created in New York. And so I went to that school.
And at some point, when did you make that first film of yours we were talking about earlier, Odessa?
Oh, you mean when I became a filmmaker?
Yeah.
I became a filmmaker. My first movie was in 2000 and starred Dr. King's daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really recent. That's as a filmmaker.
Okay, so then let's go back. I thought let's go back. So acting, and then where did that take you?
I've been acting. My first movie was with Andy Garcia. And my uncle produced it.
Really?
And he gave me. Yeah, my uncle is the producer, the executive producer of Rocky.
The first Rocky?
Yeah, the first Rocky.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very big, very big. He did Pope of Greenwich Village, which gave Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts their start. And he was very inspiring to me because he came out to LA when he was 17 years old.
Your uncle?
My uncle, and he didn't even graduate. His name is Gene Kirkwood. And he didn't even graduate high school. He just was like, I'm doing this. And he was in all those Riot on Sunset Strip, all those movies, all those kind of bebop movies. And that inspired me and inspired my whole family. My whole family moved out here.
The whole family?
Yeah. And I came out after I graduated.
Were your folks
Syracuse.
in the business too?
No. Nobody was.
Just your uncle came out here. And then your whole family, mom, dad, all.
Yeah, they all moved out here, and I came out right after I graduated Syracuse University with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in acting.
In acting?
Yeah.
So you came out here to be an actor?
Yes.
And then you started acting, and how did this morph into all these other titles you have?
Los Angeles is very seductive, you know?
I agree.
You know, there's so many things to do here. And that's why I tell a lot of people, be careful about that. Just really focus, you know? Yeah. I think when you're very creative, you want to just be involved in every aspect of the business. And so it wasn't just enough for me to be an actor.
So around what year are we talking that you came to Los Angeles?
Oh, I can't tell you that. Then you'll know how old I am.
Oh, really? Okay. I think I can.
And then I'd have to shoot you.
I can look that
up.
Please
really
do
bad.
that. Get me out of this misery. So you've been here a number of years.
Oh, I've been here a number of years. I've been here like 20 plus years.
Okay, we know it was before 2000 because you
made
it was
your
way
movie
before
2000.
2000.
Yeah.
So how do we morph into all these other things? Where do you go? So you acted. You had some.
Oh, I've done 40 movies.
Great
I've done
success in
35
acting.
TV
Yes,
shows.
you've done a lot of
I've
work,
done a lot of work.
Yeah.
I've had some great representatives. I had an amazing manager who taught me marketing. And I.
Okay, so how do you, as an actor who you come here, how do you land up getting a manager and an agent, and what's the process? Is it still the same today?
Yes.
And what's the
It's exactly the same as it was when I came, except there's more people.
lot more people?
Yeah, there's a lot more
so
people.
you get a good headshot, you make a cover letter, you send it out to agents, managers.
No, I wouldn't do it that way.
How would you do it? Help these guys out.
Okay, it's called a comprehensive package. If your pictures don't match your demo reel, which doesn't match you, then you are in full development. And people don't want to sign people who are developmental. And so that's why we lose a lot of really great people. There's people that come out here with great degrees, like from Juilliard, from
Sure.
Yale, and they're great actors, but they're not great business people.
None of them are.
That's
Very
what I'm
few.
explaining.
Okay, but somebody who's come out here and who's new and who's looking for representation may not have a demo reel.
Well, there's plenty of places that could put one together for you.
Yeah, we do that here
Yeah.
too.
So-
you do advise you should have a demo reel. You have to have one.
If otherwise, you're going to get a C agent.
Uh-huh.
So, and you have to look like somebody that doesn't need as much work. But you know what? It's interesting. A lot of people, like I just saw this girl's demo reel. I didn't understand it at all. Like you have to look at a demo reel and understand it. I have to look at the person and say, you're definitely a Two Broke Girls person. You're
Okay.
definitely
So
Homeland.
so
You're definitely...
today, a lot easier to make a demo reel. We talked about this
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Digital financial threshold very low.
Yeah.
When you made your demo reel, you made it on film, or did you have a demo reel in those days?
I had a demo reel because I worked a lot.
So you had clips.
I
you
had clips
stuff. Okay.
because I worked a lot.
Okay.
And a lot of people come out here and they spend in classes and they don't get out there and work.
They're
I
just
worked
sitting-
immediately. I said, I am going to work. And so I worked in anything and everything I could get my hands on.
So you would advise, because all my customers who are aspiring actors want to work. Some of them just don't know, what do I do tomorrow morning to try and get work?
Well, the first thing you got to do is make sure that you understand where you fit.
What type you are.
Yeah, what type you are. I mean, you
Make
have to
sure your
understand what
pictures
show
look
you're
like-
on.
Make sure your pictures
Yeah.
look like that.
Yeah. And also understand that representatives don't make money for you to
Unless
have a
you-
film career. They'll make money for you to have a TV career.
Ah.
They're not interested in you having a film career. Unless you're a major TV star and you back
Then
your
you
way
go
into
into it.
film, which is
Okay.
different, like Jennifer Aniston, and Katherine Heigl.
Okay.
But for the most part, they make their money on TV, but people, for some reason, they don't understand that concept. And so you have to watch a lot of TV in order to be on TV, and I can't tell you how many actors that don't watch enough TV. You have to have a tremendous amount of reference points to understand how the industry
Where
works.
you fit in, who you
Yes.
are, what shows
Yes.
are for you.
Yes.
Um,
You should give yourself like I'm a cross between, Like I'm a cross between Jennifer Coolidge, Bette Midler, and Kirstie Alley. Wouldn't you say that?
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not disagreeing with you.
Yeah,
No.
that would be a bad idea.
You know what you are.
You
You
know that
work.
would be a bad idea.
That
to
would be a
disagree
bad
with.
idea. Yeah. Now I lost what I was going to ask you next.
See how I do that?
Yeah, I know. So a lot of success as an actor,
Yes.
and
Yeah, and I still
you're
work.
still acting.
Yeah, I
but
just
then
came
you
from
started
Chicago.
Doing,
Doing a movie, yeah.
But then you got out into a booking coach, booking agent.
I started coaching actors on the technique that I created for myself to work.
Okay. You came up with this from all the work you've got and all the.
Yeah, because when I came out here, I didn't know how to
Experience in the
I didn't know how to
business,
get a job.
Okay, and this is as a booking. It's the first time I've heard. You're the only person I've seen who called. So you're not a casting director. You're not an acting teacher. You teach people how to audition, how to book a job.
I teach them how to get a job. So your mama said, "Go get a job."
Yeah.
I'm the person you call.
So
I teach people who have had there was a girl that had 12 callbacks on Angel, never booked it. She came to me, then she booked it.
Okay,
So
in a
it's
case
like
like
there's
that,
people who have problems booking.
what did she do different after seeing you that a dozen times later she finally booked it? What's
In
the
her
one-
case,
In her case.
she didn't understand the show.
Really?
Its tone and style of the show. She didn't understand that it was like a supernatural, still, quiet show. She was moving around too much.
So once you coach him, give them your techniques, and folks, she's got a great book, 15 guideline
Map to booking.
Map to booking, the Lyndon technique. Easy read. Even I read it.
Do you know? Do you know why I made it like this?
Easy.
Because this is the size.
It fits
of,
in your pocket.
Yeah, this is the size of a Samuel French play. And as an actor, I don't read a lot. I had problems reading comprehension problems, and so that's why it's really big. The writing's really big, and it's short, so it makes you read it over and over again. And every chapter is a guideline. So I don't fill it up.
So it's 15
with
chapters with 15 points and guidelines. Because you also have another sheet that
it's 15
mentions
guideline technique.
Some real interesting stuff, some real common sense stuff, but I guess people don't know that.
They forget it.
They forget.
They forget it, and they forget that the writer is basically God. You know, you have to channel the writer. It's just that everybody says make these grand choices. The choices are already made for you by the writer.
You got to recognize them and know what they are.
Exactly, and so what the 15 guidelines do is just teach you how to read better.
So
you catch the specifics. The brilliance is in the specifics. And so if you're not specific, you're not going to pop in the room. So I'm like a Russian skating coach. I teach you how to pop. And so that's my job.
And of course, you've seen it very successful, very effective.
Well, I have 14 people on series right now.
On regular series right now.
As series regulars.
That you have coached and you have...
Yeah, they only do my technique.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Folks,
Yeah, but I've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
And I have
and you've done all
years.
aspects of the business.
Yeah.
You were a manager at one point,
I was a manager
right?
for 9 years.
9 years.
I started Adam Brody. He was with me until the OC. He came up to study with me when he was 16 from San Diego.
Okay. Question I get a lot from actors. Big difference between a manager and an agent. If I have to get one, which one is more important?
I'm going to give you the difference. I love this question. I'm so glad you asked me a question.
Cool.
Okay, guys,
I
you ready?
actually asked you a good question.
You've been asking me great questions.
Okay.
Okay, you're a shoe in a shoe store. The shoe isn't selling. The agent's going to just throw out the shoe. They're just going to get another shoe and replace you. Shoe in the shoe store. The shoe's not selling. The manager will move the shoe. They'll say, you know what, there's something wrong with the lighting. They'll move the shoe over here. They'll go, maybe it should be lit different. Maybe we should just change the color. Maybe, you know what, let's lower the heel. So they're going to make the shoe sell.
They're going to try and manage
They're going to try to make the shoe sell.
They'll
Exactly. The
try and
agent is a
figure out why it's not
salesperson.
selling.
Yes, they will figure that out.
Shelving space, where it is, color, heel, whatever.
Yeah.
Agent throws it away. Says,
Well,
bring me another
agent,
shoe.
they're in sales.
Bring me another shoe.
Yeah, so don't get upset if you can't get your agent on the phone. That's not their job. Their job is to hold your hand. If you want a hand holder, hire me. I hold hands. I'm just kidding. No, hire a manager. A manager
So
will
somebody
hold
starting
your hand.
out, would you say a manager is a lot more important and useful to somebody who's starting out with not a lot of
I've had
credits?
great success with managers. That's why I became one.
Okay.
And I had great training as a manager because of the managers that I've had.
What makes a good manager?
What makes a good manager is a manager that understands the big picture. There's a lot of managers that only submit, so they act like an agent.
Yeah.
You can't even get them on the phone. A great manager, you know what? I have a couple of great managers that actually call me up and tell me exactly the client that they're sending me, why they're sending me that client, and then they follow up to see how the client is doing.
How they did.
That's a great manager. Because they're sending a manager to a booking coach. And they want to find out why they're not booking. That's a great manager. That's a manager who
You're getting a
cares.
lot of auditions, but you're not booking.
Or a lot of callbacks.
A lot of callbacks, you're not booking.
Yeah, and so they want to figure it out. But a lot of actors ask for help on the 11th hour, as my mother would put it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get people that have been like, their agent's about to dump them, then that's when they call me. And
Sometimes too late.
Well, I'm like, and then after they take one class or one lesson, they're like, I should have called you 6 months ago. I hear that a lot.
You never became an acting teacher, right?
A lot of
The
people would
coaching is a lot
consider
of it.
this
Yeah.
an acting. Like, I have 3 people on series right now that never trained in any other technique.
Yeah.
That have only trained in this technique. So
Classes are important. You should go find the right acting school, acting teacher, go study, right?
I think you should find the right person to teach you how to find where your emotions are. Because an actor, a great actor, is a walking, talking emotional vehicle. And so, since we're in Hollywood, it's add water and stir. So they're not interested in your process, they're interested in the result. So as an actor, I think it's important to just be able to tap into all your emotions as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. Did you enjoy being a manager?
No. No, I'm so rewarded as a coach. I love being a coach.
You love being a coach?
Oh my gosh, I love being a coach almost as much as I love to act. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. But I also love directing. That's really fun. I love directing.
And you made Odessa in
I've made like 7
2001.
films and they've all won awards.
That was your first movie.
Odessa was my first movie that I wrote, I directed, and produced.
Since you like doing that, what about actors who people now doing, because of the digital and you can get into it a lot easier, doing their own projects?
Wonderful.
Wonderful idea.
I'd rather they do their own projects than sit around and complain that they're not working.
So make a 3-minute short, do a 10-minute project,
whatever you can do.
Anything, get in front of the camera, work it.
Whatever you can do. I mean, web series, huge. There's like a massive loophole right now. You could actually get a SAG card by doing a web series.
Okay.
Just thought I'd mention that. But I'm just saying that I think that you guys have to be busy because an actor's mind can go crazy and it can turn on you.
Yeah.
And so if you're busy creating and busy acting, then when a huge opportunity comes along, you're not cold. You want to stay warm. You want to stay hot. And that's why I
keep
tell
those tools sharp,
keep
them sharp. Yeah.
I tell my actors all the time, and I did when I was managing as well. Audition for anything and everything that you could audition for. It doesn't mean that you need to take the job, just learn how to book it. So when you get a huge opportunity, it's like throwing a ball into the free throw. It's just another room you're walking in.
So with the number of years you've been doing this, the one thing I get asked a lot, how has the whole audition process changed? It used to be you sent out a black and white headshot or your agent, now it's all electronic and it's color and it's video and it's this. Have you seen a huge change in the audition process?
I think it's harder.
From what I hear from some casting directors, there's just the volume of submissions they get is huge.
It's harder. Because everything is electronic, that's why they get so much volume.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago we used to fax over pictures.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know when they used to deliver them to the casting
and I used to
directors'
pay for
offices.
that. I used to pay for those. And we used to meet with the casting directors and sit down and show them our clients. We used to have meetings. No, not anymore.
Big names maybe, but not even, but nobody
not really,
else.
yeah. I just think it's harder, which is why the actor has to work harder at putting together a package that matches their talent.
And that's a hard thing for them to know what that is. You need some good management, some good people looking at your stuff, looking at your reel, to say it's matching your talent. Most actors don't, are so immersed in it.
Yeah, but they need to
can't see it from
understand the
outside.
concept of that.
Yeah.
I actually have a business site for actors. It's a booking and business site. It's called tltaccess.com.
No, we'll put that up at the end of this.
Like a ton of lectures and stuff on just on business to teach you the business.
Yeah, I see that. I do a workshop on headshots, and it's amazing. It's mainly for theater arts majors who come into town with their degree, and it's amazing how they don't teach you anything about the business, even in school.
I've been trying to get to Syracuse University out there to teach them this, but they're not interested.
Not interested.
No, because the universities really believe that everybody is going to Broadway.
Another new thing we've seen now is the self-tapes.
Yes.
Some tips, advice, what are casting directors looking for? What tips would you give an actor who's doing a self-tape? We tape, just to let you know, we do 25, 30 of these self-tapes for actors a day. Mm-hmm. We're not coaching them. We provide a reader if they want one. Some of them bring their own readers. We just provide them great lighting, great sound, and expedite it out their file to whoever wants it. But what advice would you give an actor in terms, because you're not there in front of a casting director doing it, so.
Well, you know what? It's not really about the casting director. It's about who's going to tell the best story. So I think the actor needs to take the casting director and the people that are deciding their fate for them out of the equation. I think what needs to happen is that they need to understand first, what is the project? Look up the producers. What have they done before? Understand that first. Understand why know the show that you're auditioning for.
Because every show has a rhythm, a tempo,
Yeah, and if you're auditioning for Southland, don't give them a Will and Grace Reed, I mean, really understand that tone and style. Understand that every story has a beginning, middle, and end. Don't flatline, and make sure that you know what story you're telling, why you're even in the script. Because if you're not reading for a series regular, you have to figure out why you're in the script.
What's the reason you're a co-star or whatever?
Yeah, it's not your show. So whose story are you moving along? That's guideline number 14.
Whose story are you
moving along?
The good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you just really have to understand this. And also, are you ready to have people look at your work? I mean, seriously, you can't just be good. You can't just be great. You have to be freaking brilliant. I have a girl, Paris Bilk, she stars in Mighty Med XD. Never worked a day in her life. But she understood the art of competition. Beautiful girl. And she was only out here a couple months. Coached her. She booked it. 13 episodes.
Wow.
Why? She wanted it. She wanted it so bad. And whenever she auditioned, she auditioned at 10 plus. People are coming in, they're coming in at like a 5 or a 6. You can't just be good.
You gotta be great.
You gotta be amazing, and you
gotta
better be
your
off
homework.
book. Be off book.
You gotta do your homework, know the character, know.
You gotta know who you're talking to.
Some of these 15 points.
Yeah, you've gotta know where feelings are for you. You gotta hit your transitions hard, because that creates the dynamics in the scene. You have to really know where everything is for you. Otherwise, pass. And I think one of my biggest mistakes when I was a young actor is that I wasn't ready. I went out and I wasn't ready.
You would say that's most of the people, right? They're going out and they're not ready to go out.
Well, they don't know that they're not ready.
They're not, exactly.
But you shouldn't be practicing on people that are going to be deciding your fate. Okay?
They remember, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Casting
directors don't forget. And what's bad is that, let's say, a year from now you're really, really good. You're not going to get that same opportunity with that casting director.
They got a memory of
Yeah,
what you
so
did.
when you go out, make sure you're ready to go out. You have to go out with all guns blaring, because you will get an opportunity. People, you can get a series. It is possible. I see it all the time.
Well,
all the
somebody's
time.
getting them. I mean,
Somebody's getting them, and if you look at some people, it's not like they have a ridiculous amount of credits when they're booking these series. So it is possible. Any one of you your life can change tomorrow. But you've got to be ready.
We've seen it at the lab. I mean, we've seen it with.
Of course.
I won't mention names, but there've been a couple people who huge movies. One day broke, the next day a big movie.
Yeah. Overnight.
Series.
Overnight.
Where do you go from here? What's next for you?
Cabo. I'm gonna go lay out.
I was waiting. As soon as I said that, I said she's thinking of something fucking smart to say over here. You know.
You know what I do?
You
not do
enjoy
the same.
booking.
I teach about 90 actors a week.
Where? Do you have a location?
I teach 2 classes a week, but I do private coaching all day long. All day long. If I'm not doing career consults, I'm doing private coaching.
And they find you on your website,
yeah, I'm
on
doing
Skype.
Skype coaching.
You can teach on Skype. You can coach on Skype. No problem.
I have a girl that I coached in the UK, and she spent 3 months in South Africa shooting a movie just from a coaching.
You spent time in England. Did you get a degree over there, or you?
Yes, I went to the University of
you
London.
went to school over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been everywhere. I get around. You would think I was like 95 years old or something. You know what? I just.
So
feel
you
like
enjoy this a lot. The coaching.
I just don't want to leave this planet without having done something.
Yeah.
And it's so freaking rewarding when somebody writes you and says how well that they did on their audition, or they write you and say that they booked it and thank you. You know, it's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're changing someone's life.
It's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying this. You're enjoying doing. You're still acting though.
Yes. I
You
shot a movie
audition.
in Chicago, and then I'm getting ready to shoot a pilot next week, comedy pilot, playing a horny teacher. So that should be a real stretch for me, don't you think? He's not answering. What's
No, I'm not answering that one. And if
up?
I did answer it, we'd
He's
edit
not
it.
answering!
We'd edit the fucking thing out if I did answer it. So.
You're gonna edit this? Why?
No, we're gonna throw it up the wires.
let's talk to the people outside of Los Angeles who want to come here. I think that's really important that those
Some
people,
advice for them.
yes. I think you guys make sure that you come with a big old nest egg. At least 3 years worth. Because people always
Yeah.
say because managers want to sign 3-year contracts and actors don't understand why they do that. It's
Why
because
do they do that?
Because the first year is just development and they're making no money and they're sending you out, okay? And I have something to say to that too after that I'm really adamant about. So
Okay.
yeah,
Let's remember. If I forget
and the
one
second
film,
thing, and the second year, that's when they start creating the relationships.
Okay.
And you start going out a little bit. And the third year is when you should be booking a series or some really big
or
stuff.
regular work
Right.
on some basis.
And
And,
so-
then they make money.
And
on
that's
it.
when they make money is on the third year. And actors, and if this is you, I will smack you. If you have a manager that has worked for you and has toiled and worked their
You
little
leave
butt
it,
off
and you leave it.
for 3 years for you, and you get a huge series, and somebody comes on the set and says, "Oh, I could package you into the projects that we have in our company," and then you leave that manager, shame on you. Honestly, shame on you.
But at some point, you may have to leave to go to.
There's why?
No. Okay.
Why
I'm-
Julia
this is what
Louise
I hear.
Dreyfus?
This is what I hear. I'm not an actor.
Julia Louise Dreyfus still has the same manager, and she's been doing series after series after series.
That's a Dreyfus fund, though. I mean,
Yeah, is that what it is?
Nest egg, that's a huge nest egg. You're talking about, okay? Most people cannot come in with that nest egg. Okay?
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
that's what I was gonna say.
No, you
Don't-
said you were getting back to something else. About actors come with a
Oh yeah,
3-year
yeah,
nest
yeah. Okay,
egg,
now
coming
yeah,
to
come
town.
here and try not to get distracted. It's because this is a very distracting town. When you get here, situate yourself, find your classes, get the right photographer, and start compiling your demo reel.
This is-
start building your credits.
This is my pet peeve because as a lab, I've been doing this for 30 plus years. The right photographer, man, do they not understand that it's my girlfriend's brother has a camera, took my pictures, and they look like shit.
You know what?
That's like-
that's the jumping over nickels to save pennies
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, and
When you say don't get distracted.
You're building a business, you know. So
Yeah,
so
you're
just
building a
to
business.
talk about, let's talk to that for a second. If you're building a business,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to put a used shoe in your shoe store?
Yeah.
Who's going to buy it? Unless you have a vintage shoe store, but still, it's all smelly.
Yeah. You got something about shoes over here.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about
there's a
shoes. Well,
whole
my
shoe
grandmother
thing,
sold shoes in Bloomingdale's for 40 years in New
Really?
York City.
Okay,
Yeah, so I got to
okay.
think about shoes.
When you say don't get distracted, examples.
Well, this is a party town.
No shit.
You know, it's the party town. You know, there's plenty of places to go, plenty of things to do, and you can actually be out every night if you wanted to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Why have you been out every night? See, he's a perfect example of somebody that parties.
but, I'm not an actor. It's okay.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So I mean, you don't want to look like you just crawled out of bed. You know, it's just really important that you stay focused. If you want this, you got to make it happen fast. And you don't want to say that you tried it and then leave when you didn't really try it. So if you're going to try it, really, really go after it. And it is possible. You can make it happen within a year and a half.
Should you have some kind of schedule in your mind? I'm going to give this 5 years or I'm going to give this 10
No,
years.
I don't think you should have a backup plan.
No. Go.
Yeah, I don't think you should have a backup plan because if you have a backup plan, then it's got to feel like you're flying without a net.
Yeah.
Because then you're desperate and then you really want to work it very hard. I mean, you have to put everything into it. It's like, you have to look at it like the Olympics. Because that's what it's like. It's like the Olympics.
It's unbelievably competitive. I mean, just from my lab, the number of actors we see come in and we're just one lab,
Yeah.
is unbelievable. And,
Yeah.
I got friends who are casting directors and we talk to them and, you're talking about 1,200,000 submissions for a small role.
Hey, I remember back in the day when I booked Entourage, there were 20 people for that small role.
20.
Opposite Jeremy Piven. I mean, it was crazy. And of course, I booked it. So, hey.
There you go.
Bam.
15 technique.
Yeah. See, I did my own technique.
See, the Lyndon technique.
Actually, it's really hard to do that technique on a co-star role. You know,
Okay.
a lot of people on a co-star role. Let me just tell you this: a lot of people on a co-star role, they go in and they're too much. Like, here's your pepperoni pizza. You know, instead of just saying, here's your pepperoni pizza. You know, if you're a delivery person, just be a delivery person. So. Don't try to impress the casting director. You will impress them more if you fit into their story and not try to be any more than what the story is telling you to be. And that's a really good example of how to book a co-star. So if you're a waitress, just be a waitress. If you're a bartender, just be a bartender. Don't do anything more or less, and don't put a button on it or be cute. Just get in, get out as fast as possible. What I used to say to people, get out really fast and walk really slow to your car.
In case they call you
In
back.
case they call you back. So you want to go, hey, yeah. I always bow at the end of my audition. I go, thank you very much.
Okay.
And then just get out.
Very cool. What a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
Wonderful
meeting you.
time. And good luck. And folks, good stuff in here. It's small, quick read. Keep it in your pocket. Keep it in your car. Remind yourself. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Wonderful.